Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend for being peer pressured? My now ex-girlfriend, 27 female, and I, 29 male, were together for a year, and I broke up with her last week. So about 5 months ago, she came to my apartment after a night out with her friends. She confessed that she made out with a guy because her friends were pressuring her to have fun and not be so uptight. She apologized and said she really didn't want to, but she didn't want to look bad to them. I was really mad at her lack of a backbone, but I decided to let it go because she told me and apologized. We also agreed that she wouldn't go out drinking with them again because they keep pressuring her to do things she doesn't want to do. Last week, she went out with those girls. She didn't tell me she was going. She went to a small town in our country to stay in a cabin for the day. She sent me a message telling me she was there and she'd be back later that night. I was kinda mad already because who just disappears and tells their partner after? And the friend she was with made me feel a whole lot worse about the situation. I told her to come see me when she was back. She came to my place the next day and I asked her what happened. She said nothing bad happened and she was just taking a mental health day with her friends. I told her to just tell me if anything happened because I don't believe her. After 3 days of denying that anything happened, she confessed that she was there with one of the girls and the girl's husband. Apparently, her friend had been asking her to have a group activity with her and her husband. She said her friend kept begging her over text for several weeks, and she just caved because she felt pressured. She showed me the text, but she also said they didn't go all the way on the trip, and she didn't hook up with either of them. I told her the relationship was over, and that she seriously needs to go to therapy and address why she surrounds herself with people who pressure her to do things she doesn't want to do, and also why she feels like she can't say no to them at her own expense. She cried and said I'm blaming her for something she didn't have a say in. I told her going to that cabin was her choice. Being friends with them was her choice. And unless they held a gun to her head to do whatever she did that cabin, that was her choice too. Her brother left me a message saying I'm being too harsh and should be helping her resolve her issues instead of kicking her to the curb. I don't get why they think I should allow her to cheat on me whenever, just because she doesn't have the balls to say no to her friends. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She's 27 years old. You don't engage in romantic or intimate activities at that age just because you can't say no to your friends. Engaging in a threesome you supposedly don't want is outrageous. Good for you for having healthy boundaries and enforcing them. I was forced into a threesome, but I didn't want to. I just didn't want to let my friend down. Can that even be an excuse? I'd rather get cheated on in the traditional way. She's lying to everyone, including herself. Not the a-hole. You're 29. Do you want to be taking on a project of a person in this phase of your life? If her positives for you heavily outweigh these incidents, maybe she is worth it. If not, I would be moving on. Find somebody that is mature and that you are able to build trust with. It's been 1 year and she has betrayed your trust twice already. Run, dude. Not the a-hole at the slightest. I had a former friend of mine who was always peer pressured and overall was a doormat. They were so much of a doormat, in fact, that she was very two-faced about it. I'm not going to get into too much about what was going on, but essentially, my former friend group were scumbags to the highest degree, and she would claim that they were manipulative people. But in her Instagram, she would be hanging out with said people. This would extend to her scumbag boyfriend who wouldn't give two hoots about her, and yet still enabled and excused his behavior. Your ex has some issues of her own. Issues that you cannot fix as it has harmed you. Your ex's brother, for lack of a better word, pardon my French, is an obtuse idiot for thinking that you should help someone who isn't going to have the backbone to defend you and be loyal to you. You're on the right track, OP. Keep on working on yourself and don't let your ex, her brother, and her toxic friends put you down. I have an ex-friend like that. All people pleasers or doormats are two-faced. You can't ever trust them because the need to please always comes before their and your moral values. They will lie to ensure the people around them like them. Everything about them is fake. They stand for nothing. Am I the a-hole for planning to divorce my wife? We've been married for 5 months, me 26 male, her 26 female, and ours is an arranged marriage. Prior to our marriage, my wife seemed like an introvert who didn't talk much, but she often appeared moody. I had my doubts, but we had a discussion where she assured me of her desire to marry me and started talking to me joyfully. This continued for about 4 to 5 months. However, after we got married, she completely changed overnight. She only spoke to me when there was a genuine need, and her behavior became distant. Then one night, about a week later, she confessed that she had been in love with someone else for the past 7 years, and that they were still in love. I was shocked and furious that she hadn't disclosed this before our marriage. In a panic, she twisted her words, claiming it was her friend's story and not her own. Being half asleep, I believed her. A few weeks later, I noticed her blushing while talking to someone on the phone. Their conversation was on the borderline of being inappropriate, and she seemed happier than she had ever been with me. After the call, she asked me to guess who she was talking to. I suggested it might be her friend, but I expressed my discomfort with the way they spoke. I asked her if I could meet him, but she gave a strange excuse, claiming that he was not a good person, and it would be a waste of time for me to interact with him. She refuses to give me access to her phone. But one day, while using her laptop, I accidentally came across explicit messages between her and another man. These are recent messages. They were discussing meeting at a hotel room, and I remembered she had gone out last weekend. When I confronted her about it, she accused me of invading her privacy and claimed that she no longer trusted me. I showed her the screenshot of the messages as proof, and in response, she threatened to harm herself using a heated kitchen utensil if I didn't delete it. I was scared and ran into the bathroom while she began banging on the door with my keyboard, which ended up breaking. Eventually, she made me agree to certain conditions and started blackmailing that she will injure herself if I don't agree and also will leave me. 1. I am not allowed to question her about anything from her past, even events that occurred prior to the current day. Essentially, I cannot ask her about anything other than what happened on the same day. 2. I am prohibited from touching her phone. 3. She locks away her personal belongings in a cupboard whenever she leaves the house. 4. I am not allowed to talk about her past with my parents or any relatives. This situation has taken a toll on me, and I'm constantly made to feel like the bad guy for breaching her privacy. My wife has now begun to complain to her family about her dissatisfaction with me on a daily basis. We don't have any physical intimacy, and I don't feel any remote interest from her. Recently, she suggested that I should contribute around 20% of my monthly income to cover her personal fun expenses, which I find to be a significant amount. While I don't mind supporting her financially, it hurt me that she shows no interest in being a wife or even a friend. I feel incredibly lonely. My typical daily routine starts with waking up around 8 a.m. preparing breakfast, as she usually wakes up around 10 a.m. after I leave for the office. I then head off to work at 9 a.m. and return home by around 7 p.m. After dinner, I usually spend my time watching videos on YouTube before going to bed, and the same routine repeats the next day. She shows no interest in engaging in conversations with me. She views me as a dull individual and constantly belittles me, claiming that unless I change, nobody would like me. She even suggests that I should start drinking alcohol and smoking, as she finds it enjoyable. However, I find fulfillment and joy in a different kind of lifestyle. During a recent trip to the mall, I took a photo of her. When she looked at it, she noticed that the angle wasn't flattering and proceeded to hit me in front of everyone. It was a hurtful experience, and though I almost cried, I managed to control my emotions. Such incidents occur almost every other day, and she has never once apologized or shown any empathy for her actions. I've reached a point where I believe I would be better off alone than staying with her, and I'm contemplating divorce. However, I fear that if I initiate the divorce process, she might harm herself. She has made it clear that she doesn't want anyone in my family to know about our issues, and she has threatened that she will end up in a hospital if she finds out that my family is aware of the situation. This seems like a subtle form of emotional blackmail, and I'm at a crossroads in our relationship, wondering if it's too soon to consider ending it or if I should give it more time. Although she claims not to want a divorce, her actions indicate otherwise. She insists that for us to have a good life together, I need to change and become more broad-minded. She emphasizes particularly that I should not question her about the people she talks to. Holy Christ, man. Hit the exit as fast as you can and don't stop. No one deserves this. Good luck to you. She is manipulative and emotionally/physically abusive. You are not responsible for her actions. Yes, whatever action she takes, it is on her. You cannot allow yourself to be blackmailed by her threat of self-harm. If you give in, you will always be under her thumb and live a miserable rest of your life. Remember, you are only responsible for your own actions, not hers. Since you come from a culture that has arranged marriages, I'm betting her family would be pretty damn upset to find out their daughter is having an affair. I'd point this out to her and let her know that her options are to get a quiet divorce or have a very, very loud one. Do you live somewhere that has institutions for mental health? If so, let her know you will be calling one for her the next time she threatens to harm herself. A loud divorce would be a better choice. Edit/update. 1. Do I have any evidence that she had a boyfriend and is still in contact with him? Yes, I found a pen drive where she stored her memories with her boyfriend. I also had some screenshots that were synced to Google Drive, even though I deleted them from my phone. These screenshots showed their discussions about meeting up after our marriage. 2. Did she have a physical affair with him after our marriage? She claims they didn't, but I have lost complete trust in her. The last message I saw in one of the more recent chats was that her boyfriend decided to change his phone number as they got caught. I'm uncertain if she is still chatting with him, but I can say that she is having an emotional affair if it is not physical. 3. Does her boyfriend have feelings for her? Most likely not. It seems he is only interested in using her physically, otherwise he wouldn't have asked her to hook up, according to their chat history, after she married someone else. He doesn't want to marry her. However, she is fully infatuated with him and believes he is suffering because he didn't get to marry her. Per her, my feelings deserve a middle finger. 4. Did her family know about her boyfriend before our marriage? Yes, they were aware of her boyfriend prior to our marriage. 5. Why did she marry me? Her parents forced her into the marriage based on her chat history with her boyfriend, which I had no knowledge of before our marriage. 6. Why does she want to stay in the marriage? She doesn't want to hurt her father. Her father probably did not approve of her boyfriend, and ending the marriage now would bring societal pressure and possibly tarnish their family's reputation. I'm quite certain she doesn't care about me or my family. 7. Do I have any feelings for her? No, I don't. But at one point, I thought that her boyfriend abandoned her. Maybe she would change if given some time. I genuinely feel scared, not even joking, by her unpredictable outbursts, which can occur over trivial matters, such as a bad photo, not providing her with more money, not being overly engaging with her family members, or not participating in activities she considers exciting. It's bewildering to witness the stark contrast between how she presents herself to others and how she treats me, akin to the character Chandramukhi, as if she is possessed. 8. Does she face any danger from her family if I divorce her? I hope not, as I know her parents and don't believe they would resort to such actions. 9. Will she harm herself if I directly ask for a divorce on her face? Most likely yes. She has shown self-harming tendencies. Once after our marriage, she asked me if I knew where we could get poison. Initially, I thought she was referring to a poison to kill rats or insects at our home, but she wasn't. On another occasion, when I asked her to wear a mask before going to the hospital due to the risk, she mentioned that she should die for what she did without elaborating further. These incidents caused me to go through brief periods of depression. 10. Is it my fault for marrying her? To some extent, yes. I must admit that I overlooked certain warning signs, and her behavior took a drastic turn when I confronted her about it, after which I didn't probe her further. 11. What will happen if I divorce her? I will definitely be much happier, but she will most likely face difficulties due to her conservative parents and her boyfriend's disinterest in her. 12. What I plan to do? At this moment, I have decided not to confront her about the situation. This weekend, she will be going to her parents' place to attend her friend's wedding. Meanwhile, I plan to visit my own hometown, which is approximately 300 kilometers away from her hometown. During this time, I intend to reveal the truth to my parents. My mother already suspects that something is amiss, as she overheard a conversation between us during our stay at their place for a night. My mother also easily sensed that all is not well based on my facial expressions and tone of voice, as I am bad at hiding my mood. Would I be the a-hole if I asked my fiancée to change her wedding dress? The dress itself is very beautiful, but there is a backstory. My fiancée, 30 female, was engaged 5 years ago and was about to get married to her soon-to-be husband at that time. But that guy eloped with one of the bridesmaids. The wedding was canceled. She didn't get to walk down the aisle. 2 years after that, she met me, 31 male, and we started dating. Now, I love her a lot. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I understand what she went through because I was cheated on as well. We are planning a wedding. I know we are not supposed to see the wedding dress and whatnot, so I didn't ask which dress she will be wearing. But I got to know from one of the bridesmaids that she will be wearing the same wedding dress she bought 6 years ago. I don't know if I am being unreasonable or not, but I don't think I will be comfortable seeing her in a dress that was intended for her first wedding. It feels like she is clinging onto the past wedding. I talked to her, and I asked her why she wants to use an old dress and not buy a new one. She told me this is her dream wedding dress. She made this dress just for her wedding. She hired professionals to do it. It was hand-stitched. She made the design way before she even met her ex, and so she doesn't want such a beautiful dress to go to waste. I did ask her if she thinks it is inappropriate, considering her first wedding did not happen. She told me she doesn't want another dress, and she doesn't see it that way. She only sees her dream wedding dress. To her, it is a perfect dress for a perfect day, and the dress is only for her and not for the groom. She also doesn't want to spend so much money on making another dress. So, I dropped the matter. Look, I have been engaged before, and when my ex gave me back her ring, I sold it. I bought a new one to propose my now fiancé. So isn't it fair for me to ask her to buy a new dress rather than an old one that was meant for her first wedding? I haven't asked her anything. I am willing to pay more if she wants another dress, but I don't want to hurt her feelings. I want her to be comfortable with her choice, but I feel like this is something we both have a say in. So am I the a-hole? So, I would agree with you if this dress was specifically for that wedding. However, as described, she's dreamed about this dress way before that wedding with X was even there. So in her dream wedding, this is the dress. That just was not the day. I think if you take a step back to see it from her point of view, the dress itself is sentimental for reasons beyond the first wedding. This dress wasn't made with that husband in mind, but with her and what she dreams and wants. I would agree if you proposed with the same ring from your ex-fiancé, it would be tacky. However, say that ring was your mother's or grandmother's and had much more significant value than the person wearing it. I feel like once you realized you made a mistake on the person you were going to use such a sentimental item on, you'd stow it away and make a much better choice when you did finally use that ring. Okay, I see your point. The dress to her is basically something she wants to hold onto like an ancestral piece, right?